I'd now like to welcome Rabbi Chap, who will inspire us with some words and prayer.
What he said. Friends, it's very special to be back here at this vigil, this award-winning vigil. For one very simple reason. The people here, we just get it. And to be amongst people who get it is really important. So thank you once again to the Vigil team, the award-winning Vigil team. Friends, a number of months ago I stood here and spoke about how I, like so many others with friends and family in Israel, keep my phone on at all times since the 7th of October. Every message, every alert, every moment carrying a quiet sense of dread. And since the war in Iran began, that feeling sadly has returned. But this week, something shifted. With Monday's vile anti-Semitic arson attack in Golders Green, it felt like the flow of concern actually turned in the opposite direction. Suddenly it wasn't just us worrying about Israel. It was our families elsewhere worrying about us. And waking up to the news that Hatzalah ambulances, as we've heard, whose sole purpose is to save lives, not just Jewish lives, but anybody who needs them. To hear that they'd been targeted was utterly shocking, and it was sickening. Thank God no one was hurt. But let's be honest, this wasn't random. As we've sadly seen in Manchester, even as far away as Bondi, what we've been warning about, and those warnings falling on deaf ears, has come true once again, because when hateful words are tolerated, they don't remain words for long. They become actions, and they turn into violence. And that's why we're at a point where condemnation is no longer enough. Saying we denounce anti-Semitism, that's easy. Saying we stand with the Jewish community against anti-Semitism is almost meaningless. Because protecting a community requires far more than just statements, even more than just funding. It demands clarity, it demands courage, and it demands real action. Because the question many of us are quietly asking is this: what's the future for the Jewish community? What place do we have in British society today? When I posted about the attack on social media on Monday morning, hundreds of comments flooded in. And if we were in any doubt that anti-Semitism is alive and well, let me just give you a flavor of some of those comments. It's an insurance job. What goes around comes around. That's what you get for killing babies in Gaza. Why do Jews own their own ambulances? And this is the reality in which we're living. And yet, despite this all, let me say clearly this: not only am I proud of Israel, but I'm proud to be a British Jew. And I'll tell you why. I'm proud of what we have built here. I'm proud of what we've achieved, what we've contributed, and the difference that we've made and continue to make on a daily basis. I'm proud of our incredible communal organizations, Hatzalah, the CST, the United Synagogue, I had to say that one, the UJIA, Jewish Care. We could be here all day and all night. There are so many incredible organizations that sustain and strengthen our community every single day. And that is why I'm proud of being a British Jew, because we are an integral part of British society. And we're not going to run, we're not going to hide, and we won't be driven away. We're not going to be driven away from what we've worked so hard to build by vile anti-Semites, bigots, racists, and pretty much disgusting and horrible people. Because this is the question about our place, about our future, and it must be answered. Answered so that fear doesn't define our future, so the Jewish community can continue to contribute, to belong, and to thrive, and so that our children grow up asking not whether they belong here, but knowing that they do. And as we approach Pesach, we're reminded of something even deeper. Because every year we say, V'hi she'amda, that in every generation there are those who've risen up against us to destroy us. But we're not here today as victims. We're here as survivors, stronger than those who came before us could ever have imagined. Because for thousands of years, others have tried to define our story for us, to reduce us, to silence us, to push us to the margins. And every year on Seder night, we take that story back, we reclaim it, because the Haggadah we read isn't just a book, it's our story. A story of slavery and suffering, but also a story of faith, resilience, redemption, and hope. And that is our response right now. Because we won't be silent, we won't be defined by hatred, we won't disappear, we will tell our story and we will live our story, and we will pass it on proudly, courageously, and unapologetically to the next generation. And at the same time, and with this I'll finish, our hearts and prayers are with our brothers and sisters in Israel, praying for peace, praying for security, and praying for the day that when they too can live without fear. And this year, as we conclude our Seder with those famous words, they will carry an extra resonance. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim. Next year in Jerusalem. That's not just a ritual phrase, but a declaration of hope. A hope for peace, a hope for security and safety, a hope for the future in which our people here and in Israel and around the world can live openly, can live proudly, and can live without fear of being a Jew. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim. Next year in Jerusalem. Amen.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Chapa.